My sister sprayed perfume in my son's eyes because he looked at her too long. While he screamed in pain, my mother laughed and said, "At least he smells better now." That night, I made a promise, and 2 years later, they all learned what silence can build. The scent hit me before the scream. I was rinsing dishes in the cramped kitchen of my parents' house, my hands trembling from hours of babysitting my niece, while they all watched TV. My 7-year-old son, Jesse, had been playing quietly in the corner with his coloring book. He wasn't loud. He never was. He'd learned silence meant safety. Then came the scream. "Oh Mommy, my eyes." I dropped the plate, it shattered. I ran. He was on the floor near the hallway, curled into himself, his small hands pressed against his face, red dripping through his fingers. "What happened, Jesse? Baby, look at me." I cried, but he couldn't. And then she spoke, calm, flat, unbothered. "Please subscribe to our channel and tell us in comments from where are you watching this video." He looked at me too long. Freaked me out, my sister Mara said, shrugging as she held up a glittery bottle of her luxury perfume. So, I gave him a little lesson in boundaries. "What? Are you insane?" I grabbed the bottle from her hand and threw it across the room. My whole body was shaking. Jesse was still screaming, his eyes clenched, his skin red and blotchy. I was trying to wipe his face gently with a damp cloth when I heard it, laughter from behind me. My mother, sitting on the couch with a bowl of chips in her lap, chuckled and said to my dad, "At least he smells better now." My father didn't even look up. Should have taught him not to stare. Boys like him always grow up pervy. I froze. I felt something twist and break inside me. I scooped Jesse into my arms and ran to the bathroom, locking the door behind me. I flushed his eyes over and over again with lukewarm water. His screams became sobs, and then shudders, and then silence. Not peace, just surrender. He fell asleep curled up in my lap on the bathroom floor. I stayed there the whole night. In the morning, they knocked. My sister first. "Mom says you're being dramatic again." "He's fine." I didn't answer. Then my mother's voice sharper. "You'd better come out now before you flood my damn floor with your tears. You always were the sensitive one." No wonder Mara turned out stronger. I opened the door. Jesse was pale, quiet. I packed his things. "You're not leaving," my mom snapped. "You've got rent due, and we feed you in that thing." "That thing is my son. He's a burden," she spat. I looked at my dad. He said nothing, just went back to his newspaper. We left anyway. I didn't have a car, so I walked Jesse 4 miles to the nearest urgent care. The nurse took one look at him and asked, "What happened to his eyes?" "He was attacked." "By who?" "Family." That was the first time I said it out loud. The doctor said it was chemical irritation. No permanent damage, luckily, but he would need antibiotic eye drops for a week. I spent my last $28 on the prescription. That night, we slept on the floor of my coworker's garage. He had an old mattress in there. Smelled like motor oil, but it was better than anything we had at home. Jesse whispered, "Is she coming back? The mean lady?" "No," I whispered. "She's gone." But I knew she wasn't. Not really. The next morning, I went back to work at the diner. I scrubbed dishes until my knuckles bled. I served coffee to people who didn't even look me in the eye. I smiled. I nodded. I worked like I didn't carry rage in my chest like broken glass. Weeks passed. My parents didn't call. My sister posted pictures of her new makeup routine and labeled it, "Healing Era." Jesse got quieter, flinched at sudden movements, refused to look anyone in the eye. And still, I worked. One night after closing, I stood alone in the back room staring at my phone. I was trying to decide whether to report them. The police, CPS, anyone. But a voice in my head whispered, "They'll cover for each other. They always have." And it was true. I'd been the scapegoat for 26 years. But that night, as I watched Jesse sleep on that stained mattress in a stranger's garage, I made a decision. I wasn't going to run. I was going to rise. I didn't want justice. I wanted consequence. And I would build it myself. It started with silence. I didn't post about what happened. I didn't confront them. I didn't even respond when Mara sent me a voice note a week later saying, "You need to teach that creepy little gremlin of yours not to be so weird. He's lucky I didn't use hairspray." I just blocked her quietly. I blocked all of them. Then I worked. I worked doubles at the diner, cleaned houses on the side, and babysat overnight shifts when I could. Jesse started drawing again. He drew superheroes. Most of them had one eye shut. When I saved up enough, I rented a tiny room above an auto shop. One window, one mattress, no privacy but peace. Still, I wasn't done. I started therapy for Jesse. Free clinic, group sessions. Slowly, he stopped jumping every time someone laughed. He started calling me, Mama, again, instead of just whispering when he needed something. And me, I started taking courses. I would get off my shift at the diner, drop Jesse at group care, then walk to the local adult learning center and study child psychology, trauma response, and family abuse patterns. I didn't know what it would lead to. I just knew I needed knowledge. Because rage wasn't enough. I needed to know exactly what they had done, and how to dismantle it. One night, I was walking Jesse home from his session when he looked up at me and said, "You're like a superhero." I smiled. "I don't have powers, baby." "Yes, you do. You protect." I didn't cry. Not then. But later that night, I wrote down a promise in a notebook. I will never let anyone laugh at his pain again. I will rebuild us from the ground up. Over the next 2 years, that's exactly what I did. I got certified as a trauma support aide. I started volunteering at the same clinic that once helped Jesse. I got a job as a program coordinator for abuse recovery in schools.